Hey, good evening, guys. This is Nathan Pennington from RunDreamAchieve.com, and tonight I'm making a video about for runners that are asking the question how to run a 5K in 20 minutes. And to do that requires you to hold 3.1 miles at 6 minutes and 26 seconds per mile, or 4 minutes per kilometer. So you really have to focus on extending the amount of time that you're spending at that goal pace. Now, this isn't going to come overnight. A 5K obviously is a high anaerobic event. It's not like the marathon or the half marathon where you can run long periods of time for long distances and be able to actually sustain that pace, that race pace that you're focused on. So, a 5K in under 20 minutes is highly competitive. I mean, you're on 6 minutes and 26 seconds per mile, 4 minutes per kilometer. That is high quality running. The best advice I can give you is obviously be extremely patient with yourself, because the faster that you're wanting to run, obviously, the more that's required. It's not to say that runners that are just going out just to run a 5K or run a marathon at a relaxed pace aren't doing the work. It's just that a 5K in 20 minutes or below is very fast. It's a very legitimate pace to go out and hold for 3.1 miles or 5 kilometers. So one of the biggest issues that a lot of runners have is they put in the mileage, but a lot of times can't sustain the pace for the entire distance. And obviously, the faster that you're wanting to run, the more high-end anaerobic type training you're going to have to do to be able to sustain the pace, whether it's a 5K or a marathon distance. So really get yourself accustomed to running under 6 minute mile pace. I think that in and of itself will get you to a point where 6 minutes and 26 seconds per mile or 4 minutes per kilometer will feel much more controlled, as opposed to just going out and running easy miles every day. Now, obviously, running easy is still important. Doing your long runs, extending your long runs. If you're training for a 5K in your first few weeks, you're in a 12-week or 16-week buildup for a 5K. Obviously, you want to gradually extend the amount of mileage you're putting in until your long run the first few weeks may be 5 or 6 miles, and then you want to get it out to about 15 to 17 miles. And running slow and long for that amount of time is going to make you extremely strong to race a 5K. So running easy is still important, especially if you're training for a 5K and you run 3 times the distance for your long runs in preparation for that 5K. It's going to make 3 miles feel very comfortable. But obviously, the faster and more competitive you're trying to race, the more specific you have to be with your training. It's one thing to go out and run a 5K and finish a 5K. And for many people, finishing a 5K, especially if it's their first 5K, is an achievement of itself. It's something that you should be proud of. But if you're trying to break 20 minutes for a 5K, it already tells me you're highly, you're an advanced runner. You know what you're doing, but you're just trying to figure out a few key strategies to get you to a point where you can finally be in that 19-minute range. And, I don't know where you're currently at. Maybe you're at, 20 minutes and 30 seconds, or maybe you're at, 30 minutes and you're trying to, visualize seeing yourself get under that 20-minute barrier. And, you're going to think, focus on long term. I mean, obviously, you may not get under 20 minutes the first time or the first few times. I mean, it took me from 2002 to 2007 to drop my marathon time from 2:43 to 2:19, and I had a lot of setbacks in those years. So even in the 5K, the 5K when I was in high school, I tried numerous times to get under 16 minutes and only did it one time when I was a senior in high school. I ran 15:53, and had numerous races where I was trying to get under that barrier. So you really have to be extremely patient with yourself. You're already highly advanced. You're highly Even if you're focused on running a 5K in under 20 minutes, it already tells me you're extremely disciplined, very focused. You have some talent as well. There's no question about that. But definitely focus on working on your leg speed. Focus on doing those repeat 400s on the track where you're almost at sprint speed, but you're running far below 6 minutes and 26-second pace or 4-minute pace per kilometer. That's the key to sustaining pace for a long period of time, whether it's a 5K or it's a marathon. It's getting used to not only running long periods of time at longer but slower paces, but also running more of your weekly mileage at quality pace, at the type of pace that where you're teaching your body to burn fat at race pace and conserve carbohydrate. A lot of times, whether it's a 5K or through the marathon distance, a lot of runners really start to second guess themselves. They think that either their best running is behind them, or they don't have the genetic ability to run the types of times that they see in their mind, but it just isn't it just isn't coming about in the race. Maybe you can run a mile and a half at sub 20-minute pace, and for whatever reason that last mile and a half is giving you issues. And a big reason for that, probably more than likely, is it's not that you don't have capability. It's just you have to spend more time running, around 5:20 to sub 5 or sub 6-minute mile pace. That's really key, and you just have to be patient. There's no way around running fast. It comes about over time and consistent, persistent training. And I wish there was an easier way to answer the question, how to run a 5K in 20 minutes in an easier way. But I mean, that's the name of the game. Spending time on the track at paces, well under 6-minute mile pace, so you can get to a point where 6:26 mile pace feels comfortable. It feels, like you're in control, where you don't really feel like you're really racing until like that last mile where you have to really pick up. But it's a great feeling when you can sustain your goal race pace for the entire distance of any race. It doesn't matter if it's a 5K or up to a marathon distance. But yeah, I mean, it's that's the name of the game. You're wanting to. I would highly suggest spending more time running at a higher heart rate for a longer period of time, and you can really practice this in your long runs. Now, granted, you're running a 5K, so it's 5K, is real quick. It's over, before you know it. But if you can extend the amount of time that you're running at a higher heart rate for longer periods of time, especially in your long run, if say you get out to 15 miles, 3 times the distance of your race, and you spend about 7 to 8 miles of that 15 mile run at like 6:45 mile pace or 6:50 mile pace, you're just slightly slower than the pace you want to hold for a 5K. You're gonna be so strong. You're gonna be so motivated when you get to the starting line, and it's not gonna feel sub 20-minute 5K pace is not gonna feel so intimidating as it once was. Now, granted, it doesn't, as you already know, it does not happen overnight. If you have the patience and you can maintain the enthusiasm without losing any amount of enthusiasm, despite bad workouts or sometimes the doubts that come up in your mind, you're really going to set yourself up for success. So hopefully that was helpful in some way to you. Like I said, I wish there was an easier way to answer how you break that barrier, but some of those key strategies that I've told you about here in this video definitely will help you do it. And again, practicing your hydration on the weekend long runs, that's also a big factor that's really going to help you out in getting under 20 minutes, because a lot of runners, even in the 5K, even though it's short, aren't taking in enough fluids and they're not taking enough calories. Now, obviously, the longer you race, the more that's going to play a part, but definitely not neglecting that hydration aspect is really important. The 5K is only 3.1 miles, So the longer, like I said, the longer you can extend the amount of time that you're running, and especially running at a higher heart rate for a longer period of time, you're gonna be able to conserve that carbohydrate that you only have so much stores. Your body really only has about 1,700, 1,800 stores of carbohydrate. So the 5K is very, very anaerobic. So obviously, uh, sustaining pace for 3.1 miles at such a highly aggressive mile pace or kilometer pace is going to involve a lot more than just running easy mileage every single day. And again, if just finishing a 5K is awesome. Just being healthy is a blessing, as you already know. But to run a 5K under 20 minutes, you know, you got to sustain 6-minute 26-second per mile pace for over 3 miles, or 4 kilometers, or 4-minute kilometer pace for 5 kilometers. So it doesn't matter if you held it for a mile and a half or 2 kilometers. You got to sustain that pace for the entire race. So focus on getting that long run extended. Focus on extending the amount of time that you're spending at a higher heart rate, usually between 160 to 170. That's anywhere from a moderate pace up to close to your anaerobic threshold pace. That's the point where lactic acid starts to build up, and that's what you will really want to teach your body to be able to sustain pace, even despite the fact that you have lactic acid building up. It's really that hydrogen ion aspect, the hydrogen ion component of lactic acid that really is the real reason why we all shut down. Our muscle functioning shuts down. And the only way to be able to teach your body to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up is to run longer periods of time at a higher heart rate. And running easy just does not do that. Yes, you will build endurance. Yes, you will build your fitness. But to run a 5K under 20 minutes involves anaerobic work. It involves also obviously high focus on recovery. Remember, it's not the amount of mileage you're doing; it's the quality of the miles that you're doing, and it's also the amount of recovery. Are you taking it easy on your easy days, or like if you did a track workout on a Thursday and you decided to run with a group on Friday, and the group's running way too fast, are you going to stay with them because you feel like you got to stay with the group, or are you going to back off and be smart? That's really the key for successful running. And the best runners don't work the hardest. The best runners are the smartest runners. They realize over trial and error, because everybody, including myself over the years, have had setbacks because it's very difficult for us to slow down on days when we need to slow down. And it's that aspect of training in a group, and you feel like you gotta stay with a group, or for whatever reason they'll think less of you. No, you gotta be just as smart on your recovery days as you are in the hard workouts. So hopefully this video is helpful in some way to you. Definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm going to continue to make these videos. I really enjoy doing it, and hopefully you've got something out of this video for breaking the 5K in under 20 minutes. Definitely leave a comment below if there's a question or a specific question that you have regarding your 5K or any distance, period. Feel free to leave me a comment, and I will make a video about it. And like I said, I've been doing this for almost 28 years now, and I absolutely love helping other runners achieve more than they think that you can achieve. And I can definitely tell you, if you're focused on breaking 20 minutes, I already know that you're going to do it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So have a great evening, and I'll talk to you next time.